Drilling is never easy. It takes a lot of time, planning, and effort to coordinate any project, especially a project like drilling in the Grand Canyon. This is the story of Yellow Jacket drilling at Phantom Ranch in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Founded in 1998 and focused on the environmental, water supply, and mining sectors, Yellow Jacket drilling is known for specializing in alluvial and remote access drilling. Earning a reputation for working in adverse conditions, Yellow Jacket was tapped by the National Park Service to drill for water in the Grand Canyon. The goal is to install test wells to supplement the study for future replacement of the antiquated Trans-Canyon water pipeline that supplies water to the park for its 6 million annual visitors. After many months of planning, the physical side of preparation begins. From custom building fuel cells and painting safety barriers, to dialing in the rig and pre-testing weight loads for the helicopter lift, no detail is ignored.
This is a custom-made limited access rig. We're kind of unique in the sense that we have different types of track rigs, and so with this one, we can do quite a few different things with it. And in this case, it's traditionally an auger rig, but we're gonna convert it to an air encasing rig, and that's what we'll be drilling with down at the canyon. It's got a low ground PSI with the tracks and stuff, but it's really just designed to go into tight, small spaces. We use it in gas stations and service garages, inside buildings, and occasionally we helicopter it down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. When we do transport it, we'll be putting it in that box down there, that big 20-foot crate. We'll be strapping it in that and using the Chinook to take it down to the canyon floor. It's pretty light, it weighs under 13,000 pounds. That's our limited access rig. Basically right now we have a pallet scale inside there, so the guys are just loading up all the items and just weighing to see what they all come in at, so we know what our accumulated weights are gonna be. One of the things we're gonna be dealing with is the mule train that comes down, and just about anything will disrupt the actual mule train. They're very much creatures of habit, as we're being told. So all of our safety exclusion zone to keep all the tourists out of where we're working is normally orange or yellow, high vis, and we're not allowed to bring that down. So we'll be bringing everything down that's some sort of muted brown or gray. Today we're gonna be lifting up all our containers, mostly full, and we just wanna make sure all of our rigging is accurate, and when it pulls up, you know, the pyramid's at the right spot and nothing breaks. We'll be using a Chinook helicopter to move everything down in. And essentially we have an 18 to 20,000 payload limit. It varies because of the weather and what the helicopter can actually pick up. So we're gonna try to stay at 18,000 pounds or under. What we'll be doing today is bringing in a small crane, and ultimately we're gonna test run all of our rigging. So we're gonna load up all our boxes as we intend to take them down with the Chinook. So right now, the small boxes that are filled with weld materials and drill tools and all of that, the guys are loading up. The larger 20-foot box will take down heavy-sized equipment like the drill rig and the air compressor. And so we just want to go through the exercise today. We've got all of our rigging made and put together, and we're going to come in with the crane and pick up every box. We're going to be able to make sure all of our bridles and everything lines up accordingly. And the other thing we'll be able to do is we have load cells, and so we'll be able to put a load cell in there and actually weigh each load to see where we really are at the end of the day. The idea there is, again, to make sure we don't exceed the 18,000 pounds. The box weighs 5, the drill rig weighs 12 and change, 17,500 pounds. We're right perfect where we want to be, and so we'll be able to measure that all today.
If it's 8 feet wide, okay, you want to split it 4 feet on each side of the center of these axles. There you go. He's turning a bunch. He needs to go that way. He needs to back up.
With all of the planning and preparation completed, the loads tested and strapped down, it's time to pack up the crew, line up the convoy, and head north.
I say we check all the lights, loads, and 11:30 we'll try to pull out of here. We're going to take the 17 to the 40 west. Bo wants us all to get together and come in one convoy with the transports and you, because he's going to pull out in front of us and take us to the staging area.
Arriving at the Grand Canyon staging area allows for a final inspection of the equipment and a final walkthrough before the next challenging phase of the project takes off. After one last meeting on top, it's time to load up and get the crew to Phantom Ranch. Flying in personnel is one thing. Flying in 20,000-pound containers filled with a drill rig, compressor, and all of the supporting equipment presents another challenge. It all began when Yellow Jacket drilling was approached in January of 2019 after a prior attempt by a different company was unsuccessful. Many weeks of pre-project planning, discussing different approaches, methods, and logistical concerns led to an initial site visit. Following further discussion and understanding the given parameters, the decision to proceed was made. The drilling wouldn't be easy, but it could be done. It would be the logistical components of the project that would prove to be the greatest challenge. Without roads or any obvious means to get equipment to the canyon floor, this meant that everything would have to be broken down into manageable sized loads for helicopter transport to be done safely. Once at the bottom, space would be tight. A few containers would be left on site. However, the large containers with the heavy equipment would be loaded and unloaded one at a time to maintain a reasonable working area. With everything from flying in all of the equipment and setbacks due to weather, to limited working space on the canyon floor, every aspect had to be anticipated and accounted for.
Well, we just finished getting all the loads out. All 8 major containers went on down. There's a couple small sling loads left, but other than that, everything's down on the floor. We're in good shape and we should begin drilling tomorrow.
With the crew and equipment safely on the canyon floor, the site cleared and prepared, it's time to start drilling near Phantom Ranch in exploration of water. All of the water for Grand Canyon National Park comes from the Trans-Canyon water pipeline that is directly tapped into the head of Roaring Springs high up on the North Rim. Dating back to the 1960s, it's this aluminum pipeline that comes down the North Rim, through Phantom Ranch, across the Colorado River under Silver Bridge, and back up the South Rim that supplies the entire park's water needs. The antiquated pipeline has been requiring millions of dollars a year in upkeep and servicing to stay operational. The goal is to explore the same watershed by way of drilling multiple test wells located near Phantom Ranch to eliminate the 5 to 30 breaks a year the pipeline experiences. This update to the water supply delivery system could potentially save millions of dollars if successful. Yellow Jacket and their limited access rig, along with their skilled crew, are drilling these wells using an air rotary casing advancement method. This is the preferred method due to the formation of the ground and the alluvial makeup of the canyon floor that is comprised of sand, gravel, cobbles, and boulders. In order to properly install these wells, a casing must be advanced while drilling to keep the hole open. This ensures that the final well installation is successful and will remain operational for years to come. Throughout the drilling process, and as the casing and drill rods are advanced, fish oil is used as an environmentally sound lubricant to lubricate the threads of the joint connections as well as lubricating the hammer. The drill cuttings are monitored to keep check on the makeup of the formation. However, drilling in these conditions is typically very challenging, and the potential to lose a hole in these formations is not uncommon. Due to the type of ground structure present in the Grand Canyon, a large boulder has been drilled through and has started to roll, causing a casing to become stuck and locked up. Everyone from the project managers and safety officers to the crew in the field prepares for any scenario that may arise. The rig does not always have the power to pull the casing out, and a portable casing jack with more power must be employed to pull the casing from the ground. After removing the stuck casing and a reevaluation of the area is made, the crew moves over to start a new hole. Being prepared has allowed the crew to quickly get back on track and commence drilling after a minor but anticipated setback, and move on to the completion of the remaining wells. Continued checks of the formation conditions are necessary in order to verify the alluvial makeup that will be the water-bearing zone and to make sure that bedrock hasn't been encountered. Once bedrock has been encountered, casing advancement will cease to prevent becoming stuck. After the holes are drilled, the surface is completed by installing a concrete pad with a steel monument and locking cap. With the wells installed, development begins by surging and bailing, followed by pumping. Once the wells are completely developed, test pumps are installed for constant rate pump testing. The National Park Service can now begin performing a study on the potential yield of the formation. For the first time, wells have been successfully installed at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. After 5 weeks on the canyon floor, Yellow Jacket is ready to begin the extraction process.
Yeah, we're up here at the Grand Canyon trying to get our crew out of the bottom from Phantom Ranch. They've got everything wrapped up, the well's finished, everything's packed and ready to go. As you can tell, the weather shut us down. We got a new crew in here with the Chinook helicopter, and the weather's not cooperating. It's our day 2, waiting to get our guys out. Yeah, this is day 3. We've been waiting for the weather to lift. We talked to the helicopter crew today. They're on board for flying today. We got our equipment fired up, inspections done, and we're ready to go. First flights, they're going to lift the 2 10-footers out. We're going to change the bridle over to third 10-footer. They'll load the 20, and we're going to go from there.
With the success of the crew on the floor, and after a delay of 2 days due to weather and visibility, the final extraction phase of Yellow Jacket's Grand Canyon project is underway. The same challenges and concerns from the initial lift remain. And with that, all of the planning, strategy, and coordination has paid off for the National Park Service and the Grand Canyon. Yellow Jacket drilling is now ready to head off to the next project.
Complete successful lift today. We had great weather, a great helicopter crew, and everything just went great today. Well, you can see it's the end of the day. The helicopter crew is shut down. They have successfully pulled out all 3 of our 10-foot connexes, 4 20-footers with all our equipment and material in it, and we are finished. We're going to unload this box, secure everything, put everything on secondary containment, and we're going to call it a day.